tonight The Tailor of Gloucester by Beatrix Potter. The Tailor of Gloucester. In the time of swords and periwigs and full-skirted coats with flowered lappets, when gentlemen wore ruffles and gold-laced waistcoats of potasoy and taffeta, there lived a tailor in Gloucester. He sat in the window of a little shop in Westgate Street, cross-legged on a table from morning till dark. All day long, while the light lasted, he sewed and snippeted, piecing out his satin and pompadour and lute-string. Tough stuffs had strange names and were very expensive in the days of the Tailor of Gloucester. They do have strange names. So many of these things, I have no idea what they are. And I have watched Downton Abbey. But although he sewed fine silk for his neighbors, he himself was very, very poor. A little old man in spectacles, with a pinched face, old crooked fingers, and a suit of threadbare clothes. He cut his coats without waste, according to his embroidered cloth. They were very small ends and snippets that lay upon the table. Too narrow breadths for naught, except waistcoats for mice, said the tailor. One bitter cold day, near Christmas time, the tailor began to make a coat of cherry-colored corded silk embroidered with pansies and roses, and a cream-colored satin waistcoat trimmed with gauze, and green worsted chenille for the mayor of Gloucester. These little mice live right there. Do you see their clothes? I have a feeling they're going to have some super fancy clothes. The tailor worked and worked. He talked to himself. He measured the silk and turned it round and round, and trimmed it into shape with his shears. The table was all littered with cherry-colored snippets. No breadth at all, and cut on the cross. It is no breadth at all. Tippets for mice and ribbons for mobs. All mice, said the Tailor of Gloucester. When the snowflakes came down against the small leaded window panes and shut out the light, the tailor had done his day's work. All the silk and satin lay cut out upon the table. Oh my goodness. Look at this little one. Oh my goodness. That is ridiculous. There were 12 pieces for the coat and 4 pieces for the waistcoat. And there were pocket flaps and cuffs and buttons all in order. For the lining of the coat there was fine yellow taffeta, and for the buttonholes of the waistcoat there was cherry-colored twist. And everything was ready to sew together in the morning, all measured and sufficient, except that there was wanting just one single skein of cherry-colored twisted silk. The tailor came out of his shop at dark, for he did not sleep there at nights. He fastened the window and locked the door, and took away the key. No one lived there at night but little brown mice, and they run in and out without any keys. There he goes. For behind the wooden wainscots Of all the old houses in Gloucester, there are little mice staircases and secret trap doors, and the mice run from house to house through those long, narrow passages. They can run all over the town without going into the streets. But the tailor came out of his shop and shuffled home through the snow. He lived quite near in College Court, next the doorway to College Green, and although it was not a big house, the tailor was so poor he only rented the kitchen. He lived alone with his cat. It was called Simpkin. Here he is on the way home. Can you imagine living just in the kitchen? Now all day long while the tailor was out at work, Simpkin kept house by himself, and he also was fond of the mice, though he gave them no satin for coats. "Meow," said the cat when the tailor opened the door. "Meow." The tailor replied, "Simpkin, we shall make our fortune, but I am worn to a ravelling. Take this groat, which is our last 4 pence, and Simpkin, take a china pipkin, buy a pennyworth of bread and a pennyworth of milk and a pennyworth of sausages. And oh, Simpkin, with the last penny of our 4 pence, buy me 1 pennyworth of cherry-colored silk. But do not lose the last penny of the 4 pence, Simpkin, for I am undone and worn to a thread paper, for I have no more twist." That means thread. It sounds like he's sending his cat on an errand. Can you even imagine that? Then Simpkin again said, "Meow," and took the groat and the pipkin and went out into the dark. The tailor was very tired and beginning to be ill. He sat down by the hearth and talked to himself about that wonderful coat. "I shall make my fortune to be cut bias. The mayor of Gloucester is to be married on Christmas Day in the morning, and he hath ordered a coat and an embroidered waistcoat to be lined with yellow taffeta, and the taffeta sufficeth. There is no more left over in snippets that will serve to make tippets for mice." Then the tailor started, for suddenly interrupting him, from the dresser at the other side of the kitchen came a number of little noises. There he was, starting to feel ill. And here he is, hearing little noises. I wonder what the noises could be. Tip, tap, tip, tap, tip, tap, tip. "Now what can that be?" said the Tailor of Gloucester, jumping up from his chair. The dresser was covered with crockery and pipkins, willow pattern plates, and teacups and mugs. The tailor crossed the kitchen and stood quite still beside the dresser, listening and peering through his spectacles. Again, under a teacup, came those funny little noises. Tip, tap, tip, tap, tip, tap, tip. "This is very peculiar," said the Tailor of Gloucester, and he lifted up the teacup, which was upside down. Out stepped a little live lady mouse and made a curtsy to the tailor. Then she hopped away, down off the dresser and under the wainscot. She is a pretty little thing. The tailor sat down again by the fire, warming his old cold hands and mumbling to himself. The waistcoat is cut from the peach-colored satin, tambour silk, and rosebuds in beautiful floss silk. Was I wise to entrust my last 4 pence to Simpkin, 21 buttonholes of cherry-colored twist? But all at once from the dresser there came other little noises. Tip-tap, 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 tap, tip. This is passing extraordinary, said the Tailor of Gloucester. And he turned over another teacup, which was upside down. Out stepped a little gentleman mouse and made a bow to the tailor. He's also dressed very nice. Out stepped a little gentleman mouse. And then came all over the dresser. Then from all over the dresser came a chorus of little tappings, all sounding together and answering one another, like watch beetles in an old worm-eaten window shutter. Tip-tap, 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 tip. Excuse me. And out from under teacups and from under bowls and basins stepped other and more little mice, who hopped away down off the dresser and under the wainscot. The tailor sat down close over the fire, lamenting 21 buttonholes of cherry-colored silk. And there he is again. This is a very long story, so we're going to stop there and finish tomorrow. So let's say our bedtime prayer. Fold your hands and close your eyes. Bow your head. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. Guide me gently through the night and wake me with the morning light. Amen. I hope you sleep well.